Tune into ESG Matters with Risk Insights, where we explore ESG with impact. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. And thank you for joining us again this week. I'm your host, Anushka Bogdanov, and this is ESG Matters with Risk Insights. Before we begin today, a massive congratulations to India for the successful landing of Chandrayaan 3 on the south pole of the moon last week, Wednesday. So proud to be a global citizen to witness science and technology progressing in many parts of the world. After the 15th BRICS summit that was held here in South Africa, we set into motion the aim to enhance our energy collaboration towards becoming environmentally friendly, low carbon emitter, and ensuring climate resilient development. Within these events, I wanted to dive a little bit into South Africa's relationship with coal and fossil fuel. South Africa has aimed to reduce carbon emissions to between 350 and 420 megatons of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2030 and improving the original target that was set in 2015. South Africa is currently the 14th largest emitter of carbon dioxide worldwide. This is mainly due to our high reliance on coal energy. As of recently, though, we are beating our current climate goals, and you won't believe this, but this is due to our load shedding. According to Bloomberg, with the recent breakdowns of our coal fired power plants, which supplies more than 80% of our electricity, less carbon dioxide is being released into our atmosphere. This is mainly due to the daily rotational power cuts that go up to about 10 hours a day. In 2019, the Center of Environmental Rights released their Full Disclosure 5 report, which focused on the country's top 10 greenhouse emitters. The emitters that were covered in this report, who were reported to be responsible for around 61% of South Africa's GHG emissions, it reported that Eskom leads this list, releasing around 39% of South Africa's GHG, and falling into second place was Sasol with a percentage of 13.5. Within South Africa, we need to build a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable economy while at the same time responding and mitigating against climate change. There are key policies and investments that are needed to help South Africa achieve our climate goals. Through implementing a low carbon transition that aims to lower emissions of greenhouse gases, will allow our country to harness investments in new technology that will help resolve the current energy crisis. This trajectory will also help strengthen South Africa's competitiveness and reduce pollution that negatively impacts our country. According to Marie-Francoise Marie-Nelly, the South African World Bank's country director, renewables are amongst the cheapest and the quickest solutions to increase electricity supply and reduce the strain on our existing generation capacity. Adding more power to the grid is needed to address the chronic deficit of power generation that leads to rolling blackouts, harming productivity and economic growth. By South Africa achieving climate resilient transition, this will help us mitigate the impact of climate change on the country's agriculture, cities, infrastructure, and people. Supporting just transition is essential for a high population in a country that is exposed to climate risks and are less able to cope with these exposures. It is estimated that for each job that has been eliminated in the shift to a low carbon economy, 2 to 3 jobs could be created between the years of 2022 and 2050. Embracing carbon neutrality for South Africa does not mean turning our backs on coal fired energy. It means diversifying our energy portfolio to mitigate risk. Being carbon neutral refers to ensuring any carbon emissions created are balanced. This means that we ensure that the amount of carbon being released is equal to the amount being removed from our atmosphere. This helps significantly to reduce the amount of harmful emissions that have been contributing towards global warming. Greenhouse gases keep our planet habitable. through trapping some of our planet's heat energy. This trapping is known as the greenhouse effect. Too little greenhouse gas makes our planet too cold, while too much makes our planet too warm. Currently, climate crisis is occurring because of the imbalance of the Earth's energy budget. Financing coal is not completely negative, but it means we need to reduce our reliance on a singular form of energy production and ensure that we have different methods of energy creation. There is a massive opportunity for this, not just in South Africa, but the entire African continent, due to being low emitters of greenhouse gas. Within the world, Africa only accounts for around 2 to 3% of global carbon emissions from energy and industrial sources. There are many strategies that have been implemented across Africa to mitigate against climate risk and keep these emissions low in Africa. Although this change can create impact and value, it does impact on short term profits and gains and stakeholder value. Balancing a risk that appears to be far fetched, which does not provide immediate returns, is a hard pill to swallow for executive leadership. Keeping brand and reputation and being an employer of preferred choice and to retain and enhance competitive value for the future will take futuristic and conscious leaders to steer economies of the future. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you again for all the support that you have been showing to our new podcast. We can't wait to hear your insights and thoughts for this week. I will be taking a break next week, but join me the following week for another episode of ESG Matters with Risk Insights. For those of you that have taken up the A-Cube model, thank you for the support, and I hope you're enjoying it. Our next episode, I will share some of the companies in Africa that have strong ESG disclosure, and you be the judge whether these companies are creating value. Ciao for now.